Meanwhile, the United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting in the face of North Korea's pledge to strengthen its nuclear capability. The meeting was convened by the United States amidst fears that Pyongyang could resume its nuclear testing in the coming weeks. North Korea has been subject to the United Nations sanctions since 2006 over its nuclear and ballistic missile programs. But Pyongyang has dramatically ramped up its sanctions-busting missile launches. It has conducted more than a dozen weapons tests since January. The United States warns the 15-member Security Council to vote on a U.S. draft resolution to further sanction Pyongyang. The U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, has told the Council that silence and restraint have clearly not worked in the case of North Korea, as Pyongyang prepares for its 7th nuclear test. The United States has warned that the Security Council cannot stay silent for any longer.
We're now nearing the end of negotiations on the U.S. proposed draft resolution, and we cannot wait until the DPRK conducts additional provocative, illegal, dangerous acts like a nuclear test. We need to speak up now with a strong and unified voice in condemnation of the DPRK's behavior.
Now, on the other hand, veto power-wielding nations such as China and Russia are opposed to further United Nations sanctions. Both have long been pushing for the Council to ease such measures on North Korea. The United States has called out China and Russia for opposing further United Nations action on North Korea, taking aim at China and Russia. The U.S. envoy said that it's time to strengthen the sanctions regime further, instead of considering sanctions relief. Washington, interestingly, has argued for more sanctions against Pyongyang, while Beijing has called for easing of sanctions against North Korea. The Chinese ambassador to the United Nations, Zhang Jun, called the possibility of escalation very worrying. Zhang Jun has called for restraint, adding that the tightening of sanctions in an atmosphere of mistrust is simply not constructive. He's also reportedly said that China wants to avoid a nuclear test. He's also stressed that additional sanctions might actually force one of the parties to take more provocative action.
美方援引联合国宪章第7章提出新的决议草案，核心是进一步追加制裁。这不是应对当前半岛局势的合适方式。
Russia's Deputy Ambassador Anna Yevstenjieva also called for the resumption of dialogue and stated that more sanctions are likely to be counterproductive.
Хотели бы напомнить американским коллегам, что переговоры – это улица с двусторонним движением. Совершенно бесперспективно ожидать от Пхеньяна безоговорочного разоружения под угрозой раскручивания санкционной спирали и гарантии ничем не подкрепленных обещаний.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.